In the quiet village of Arapadon, nestled between the rolling green hills and the thick forests of southwestern Nigeria, lived a young woman named Ayami. Her full name was Ayamide Eliowitoyen, but everyone simply called her Ayojoy because even on the hardest days, a smile seemed to find its way to her face. Arapadon was a place where time moved slowly. Roofs of thatch and mud walls lined narrow paths. Children chased each other with laughter that echoed like bells, and women pounded yam in the early morning while men headed to farms. But Ayo was different. While other girls her age learned to weave baskets, cook a gisi soup, and care for younger siblings, she preferred the forest. Her father, Babalik, had been the village's greatest hunter before a buffalo gored him during a hunt 5 rainy seasons ago. He never walked the same after that. His right leg dragged, and the once-strong man now spent his days sitting under the mango tree, carving walking sticks for children and telling stories of the old days. Ayo was 14 when she first picked up his old Dane gun. It was heavy, the barrel blackened from years of smoke, but she carried it without complaint. At first, the men laughed. A girl with a gun? What next? A woman chief, they would say at the evening palm wine gatherings. But Ayo did not argue. She simply went into the bush alone at dawn and returned with bushmeat small antelopes, guinea fowls, sometimes even a python that had grown too bold near the village stream. Her mother, Mama, Funmi, worried constantly. Ayo, the forest, has spirits. It does not like women who walk like men. I greet the spirits properly. Mama Ayo would reply softly. I pour libation, I speak their names with respect. They have not harmed me yet. One dry season, when the Hamatan wind carried red dust across the fields and crops began to wither, trouble came to a huge leopard deacon had started raiding livestock. First, it took goats from the edge of the village, then a calf, and finally it dragged away old Mama Rissicat's prize ram in broad daylight. The beast was clever. It left no clear tracks, only deep paw prints that disappeared into the thick undergrowth. The men organized hunts, but each time they returned empty-handed. Sometimes with wounds from thorns or twisted ankles, the village elders gathered under the ancient Iroko tree. We must send 4 hunters from Iker, said Chief Adalik. Our own men cannot catch this demon. But Ayo, who had been quietly listening from the back, stepped forward. Baba, let me try. The men burst into laughter. Even Chief Adalik shook his head. Child, this is no small antelope. This is a spirit in leopard skin. Go back to your mother's kitchen. Ayo did not flinch. She looked straight at her father. Babalik met her eyes for a long moment. Then he nodded once. Let her go, he said quietly. She knows the forests better than any of you. The next morning, before first light, Ayo prepared. She rubbed black camwood paste on her arms and legs to blend with shadows. She tied a cham, a small leather pouch containing herbs her grandmother had once given her around her waist. She carried her father's Dane gun, a machete, and a calabash of water mixed with herbs to keep her alert. She did not follow the main paths the men had used. Instead, she moved along game trails only animals knew, narrow lines where leaves barely brushed her shoulders. She listened. The forest spoke in many voices. The sharp cry of a monkey, the rustle of dry leaves, the distant call of a turako bird. By mid-morning, she found the first sign, a smear of blood on a low branch, still fresh. Then a tuft of tawny fur caught on thorns. She knelt and touched the earth. The prints were large, the claws long. This was no ordinary leopard. She followed the trail deeper, past the stream where women washed clothes, past the sacred grove no one entered without permission. The air grew cooler, heavier. Birds stopped singing. Then she saw it. The leopard lay stretched on a flat rock in a small clearing, sunning itself. Its coat was darker than usual, almost black in places, and one that was milky white old injury, perhaps, a Hoffaton diker lay beside it. Ayo's heart hammered. She crouched behind a fallen log, slowly raising the gun. But something stopped her finger on the trigger. The leopard lifted its head and looked directly at her. Not with rage, but with recognition. It did not snarl or flee. It simply stared. In that moment, Ayo remembered her father's words from long ago. The forest gives what you ask, but ask with respect. She lowered the gun. Instead, she spoke aloud, voice steady, though her knees trembled. Great one of the bush, I greet you. I am Ayamide, daughter of Leek. My people suffer because your hunger takes from us. If you are spirit, show me. If you are flesh and hunger, let me end it cleanly. But do not make me kill without reason. Silence. Then the leopard rose slowly. It walked toward her step by careful step. Ao did not run. She stood her ground. When it was close enough that she could smell the blood in its breath, it stopped. It lowered its head once, almost like a bow, then turned and limped away into the thicket, dragging its left hind leg slightly. A wound, old and festering. Ao followed at a distance. For 2 more days she tracked it not to kill, but to understand. She learned its paths, its resting places. On the 3rd evening, near a hidden cave, she found the reason. 3 cubs, thin and mute, their mother unable to hunt properly because of the injured leg. Ao's heart soft. The next morning she returned to the village with no carcass, only a story. The leopard is a mother, she told the elders. Her leg is bad. She cannot hunt far. That is why she comes close to us, the men muttered. Some called it witchcraft. Others said she was afraid. But Chief Adalik listened. What do you propose, Ao? Give me goats, old ones, sick ones. I will leave them near the cave each week until the cubs are grown. Then the mother will take them deeper into the forest. No more raids. It was unheard of. Feed the beast that steals. Yet Baba Leek spoke up again. My daughter has never lied about the bush. Let us try. For 3 months, Ao carried food to the edge of the sacred grove. She never saw the leopard again, face to face, but each time the meat was gone, cleanly taken, no blood trail left behind. When the rains returned, the raids stopped completely. The village began to whisper of Ao the hunter, not with mockery now, but with quiet respect. Mothers brought their daughters to learn from her how to move silently, how to read signs in the dirt, how to speak to the forest. Years later, when Ao was grown and had her own daughter, little Iridi Hope, she would sit under the same mango tree where her father once carved sticks and tell the story. The forest does not belong to men alone, she would say. It belongs to those who listen. And in Irepodung, when the evening fires glowed and palm wine flowed, people still remember the girl who faced the leopard with words instead of bullets and one piece for her people.